number of housing estates in Lagos have raised service charges to offset rising costs of diesel. The increase in diesel prices, which is deregulated and reacts to changes in crude, has impacted Nigerian businesses and private citizens who rely on diesel generators for power. Lack of power supply due to the frequent grid collapses has also increased the use of those generators across the country. So President Buhari yesterday apologized to Nigerians over the prolonged fuel scarcity and frequent power outages being experienced across the country. The president, in a statement issued by his spokesman, Malam Garba Shehu, said the blackouts seen in the national grid were being addressed. However, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, has explained that the power situation was caused mainly by the activities of vandals on the country's gas supply assets. Joining us to discuss further is Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, good morning to you.
Hi, how are you today?
Fine, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. So, the president's apology, what do you...
Well, I mean, we were looking for definitive solutions or definite timelines. You know, my people say that the hunger that you know when it's going to end is easier to bear.
Yeah.
If you know when your problems are going to end, it's easier to manage. But I mean, if you read through his apology, there was no timeline there. There was nothing that looks like salvation there. It was just explaining the problem and why the problem was going to continue. Because within yesterday, I told you in the last 48 hours, I'm not sure I had more than 10, 20 minutes of light in where I stay. And it's not gotten better. So apologies without, as someone I know will say, apologies without remedial actions.
Right.
They're actually meaningless. You know, if I see remedial actions that tell us that Nigerians, you get 18 hours of light or 10 hours of light, or even an update to us on the cement power program. Exactly. It's an opportunity for the president to speak to us about the general power, plan in the country. He's getting to knock 8 years almost. One of the promises was on election promises when he came to power was on power.
Yes, that is correct.
What is he leaving behind for us on power?
Yeah.
You know, this would have been a time for him to tell us that this is what he's doing, this is what he's done, this is what he's done, and share the Siemens power deal, which all of us celebrated here when it happened, but there was something like that. So I mean, the apology is okay, but I mean, he doesn't provide any solace to the suffering masses. Now you will find there are a lot of the whole system is is complaining. Yeah. Even some banks have given out notices.
So close
early.
Yeah.
You can imagine banks who have money closing early,
right?
Rationing diesel. Estates now also.
Housing estates, the service charges.
Service charges have gone up. Why wouldn't they go up? I mean, they impute. It's funny that the people who don't want, who insist on fuel subsidy, will live in those estates.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, they will pay the increased service charges.
The estates,
but they will want PMS to remain the same price forever.
Right.
But it's important to understand the dynamics of this. Apart from the issues happening in the country, we have our own systemic issues that has to do with how we price petrol.
Right.
And the issues around how we have dealt with our oil industry. The whole country is upside down. You saw the tweet. I followed the group chairman of UBA. Yeah. And he brought up some topical issues. I'm having the reach also here. I don't want to say cry. Right. He raised the issues that he's listened to because he has people working with him. And he's raised the issues. And for me, the bigger issue, therefore, that he brought out in his tweet is the fact that those estates, for example, everybody must go and get their voters card. This is on the political, we don't do political pitches here.
Of course, yeah.
But the election time is not when those estate members will just go and be lying that day. People go and line down and be drinking beer or eating things and won't go and vote. People who have employees should go and encourage people to get a card. Let it get involved in what's happening in 2023 and select people who are accountable to us and make sure that Nigerians don't suffer, go through this again. I mean, power, nothing has happened in the last 20 years in power. it's gotten worse. You know, promises have been made and not been delivered. You know, and so those are the issues. So thank God for the president for his apology, but he hasn't helped us.
Would you like to discuss the World Remit report or the banking probe on charges?
The World Remit report is slam dunk. It's not surprising that it increased in 2021 because remember 2020 we had issues of COVID. Yeah. And there was a lot of lockdown. A lot of people lost their jobs too. Apart from countries that had payments to citizens who were not working, a lot of other countries didn't have that kind of payment to citizens. And so people were out of job. And you have to survive in the country of your habitation before you can send money home. So with the stability that came in with 2021, with the people returning back to work in 2021, it doesn't surprise him, therefore, that there was an increase in the remittances. And that basically explains that report. Fantastic. Of course, you know that Nigeria, along with Philippines and the mentioned Ghana, are the top, top destinations for domestic remittances. You know, charges are normal things.
Yes, the bank charges.
Bank charges are normal things, you know. But you see, the central bank has this tariff order where banks, which stipulates the maximum banks can charge, or under condition under which banks can charge. The central bank has also provided a window for people to, like, report excess charges. And the central bank regularly publishes how much refund they've made to individuals about that. But I also believe that banks must introspect and be their own checks, create their own checks and balances. And the compliance units of these banks must start being accountable and making sure that customers are charged only those bona fide items, charges, that in line with the bank charge in the banker's tariffs. It creates so much bad image and bad brand equity for banks. Indeed, when you mention banks in the country, they don't sound well, you know. And I hope the bankers know this, because people just believe that banks are there to rip off the. And that's not the case. And that's not the case in most instances.
All right, business analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, as always, thanks for coming to talk to us about the pressing issues. We appreciate your time.